we welcome you, Jay St. Clair, to the program. My man, my legal expert, my life consultant, my best friend, and gambling buddy, Jay St. Clair. Hey, Jay.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
You know, man, I thought you might ask me that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way I could be any better is if I were Roy McIlroy. Now, that would be pretty good now.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. You got the world on a string if you're Roy McIlroy right now. I mean, good for
What
you.
a great story.
Yeah,
what a great story. I've read some stories about it, and people are very articulate about it. But just as the perseverance, you just got to stick with it. And someone a lot wiser than me said golf is a perfect metaphor for life.
Mm-hmm.
And his career is a pretty good metaphor of my life. I've missed a lot of 4-foot putts in my life, man. You've heard me say many times, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've had a lot of 85-yard wedges in the creek.
Yeah, I can identify with that, my friend. But to get a second crack at it, to get a second chance at it, let me tell you, I guess it was Jack Nicklaus or Bobby Jones that said golf is a game played in the space between your two, the 5-inch space between your two ears.
Right. Bobby Jones.
Yeah, it's Bobby Jones.
Or the most difficult distance in golf is the distance between your ears.
Right. And there's no question that Augusta National, that the area that he needed to cover was that 5 inches between his ears, because I don't know if boy, oh boy, he had at one point a 5-shot lead with 9 holes to go. And if he had lost that tournament, I don't know what you do with that, but thankfully he did.
Yeah, he 3 putts on 18 to go drop down into a tie. How does he get back from that, Matt? Well, on the first playoff hole, he hits it to 2 feet.
Well, that'll do it.
2 feet.
After Justin Rose hit it to about 8 or 9 feet. He hit it to 2 feet. Oh, it's good. It's good. I love golf.
Just great. Yes, great.
Jay, any thoughts before we start taking some questions? Any this is a legal matter. It's very, very intricate. This Garcia fella is not an American citizen. He is not afforded, all of the rights of an American citizen. I would expect that he has some level of due process in court. The Trump administration says, listen, we might have jumped the line a little bit in terms of the deportation order that was on hold from 2019. But any general thoughts on all of this?
Yes, non-citizens do have some due process rights, not equal to those of citizens, man. And, the due process clause, the framers, the founders of this country were so brilliant. They use words like that are simple words, but, boy, they have to carry a lot of weight. And over the years, that clause has been subverted, really, man. That they came up with this crazy idea of substantive due process, which is an oxymoron. It's not substantive, it's procedural. And the current Supreme Court's kind of gotten back on that, although they've never reversed it. Substantive due process would be you have certain substantive rights. You can't be deported for X, Y, and Z reasons. Well, that's not what they have. They're entitled to a hearing. It's just that simple, man. They're entitled to a hearing. And here that didn't happen. And the government admits that. Here's what makes this case really sui generis.
Ooh, I love it when you speak that Latin, Jay.
You like it when I talk Latin to you, don't you? I like doing it.
Sui generis.
Sui generis, or as the writer Sir Arthur Conan Doyle said, one of my favorite phrases in the Sherlock Holmes books, this is singular. It's singular. It's sui generis. It's one of a kind. And here's what makes it one of a kind. The government admits they made a mistake. They admit that. They admit that they wrongfully deported him. They admitted that.
They jumped the hero. They admit it.
So that puts the Supreme Court in a bind, really, man. They've admitted you've done something wrong. Well, we got to fix it. But he's not in this country anymore.
Right.
And we can't tell a foreign country what to do.
Right.
The Supreme Court cannot order El Salvador to return him. They do not have that authority. So the most they could do was to say to the president, well, you must facilitate. I'm pretty sure I'm right that's the word they, and trust me, they argued or debated, discussed what words should they use. And they didn't say you must bring him back. They didn't say that. Or you must go invade El Salvador and capture him and return him. They didn't say that. They just said you must facilitate that, because they knew they didn't have the authority to order El Salvador to do anything. So it is sui generis. Let's just put it this way, man. I have a feeling that the president of El Salvador likes Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he wants to be as good of friends with the United States as he can be. And I suspect there have been conversations between the countries about this gentleman. And I suspect the president of El Salvador said, hey, do you want this guy back?
And
I guarantee you. And they said, well, nah, we're not in any big hurry about that.
You know, but
but they had to be careful what they say.
Right, well, right.
If I was their lawyers, here's what I would advise him to say, man. Well, the Supreme Court has ordered us to facilitate his return to the United States, and so we are here to help you in any way we can to have him return to the United States. We are your facilitator, but your country is your country. And this person is a citizen of your country, and he's in your country. Mm-hmm. So it's your decision what to do with him. Mm-hmm. But if you decide you want to send him back to the United States, we are here standing ready, willing, and able to facilitate that happening.
Yes, we will make that as easy as possible. Yeah.
Have you understood everything that I've said? Yes, sir, I understand everything you said, and I don't think it would be right to send him back to the United States.
And so the argument, then you turn around to the Supreme Court and say, hey, we're doing everything we can. We just talked to El Salvador here, and they said they'd let us know, you know?
Well, I mean, he said it in the Oval Office.
Well, he did.
What do you want me to do? Smuggling? Do you want me to smuggle a terrorist back into the United States? No, it is sui generis. If you made a movie about this, man, no one would say, well, that could never happen.
Well, that's right. I mean, no, that would never fly. It would never go down. All right, Jay St. Clair is with us for the better part of the hour, and your questions are most important. Let me see here, Jay. Oh, this is my favorite one that's come in so far. As soon as I get my page pulled up, so John in Lawrenceburg, one of our preferred listeners on the Matt Murphy Show, has written in, and he says, Matt, please ask Jay, is there a legal way to deport Nico Ilimaliava's father? Thank you. I knew you'd get a kick out of that.
Well, I'll say this. I've been learning all the reasons one can be deported. Uh-huh. And one of the reasons is if you lack good moral character.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So, John, I will let you form your own conclusion about that.
You know, the overall, I mean, and I know you, I don't want to presume, Jay, maybe you have looked into the legal ramifications of NIL, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but my goodness gracious, I mean, it's kind of the Wild West out there right now.
Yeah, well, it's changed the world. And the Supreme Court, to show you really kind of how out of touch they are in the day-to-day life, man, when they issued the decision that basically required NIL, that said that no college students can have jobs. I've forgotten who it was. I think Gorsuch maybe wrote the opinion. He dropped a footnote and he said, but now they won't be going out buying Lamborghinis. We're not talking that kind of money. We're talking maybe 50 grand. He didn't say that, but that was the implication.
Right.
He said, well, it won't be millions of dollars.
I mean, come on, guys.
Calm down.
Right. Everybody just settle down. I mean, we're just talking a little bit of money, a little spending cash.
See, that's a guy, all he knows is the Ivy League.
Right.
He doesn't know the SEC. What is the tagline? It just means more.
That's right. That's the SEC. It just means more.
It just means more.
Yeah, nowadays it just means more money.
Well, they're not stopping at Lamborghinis.
No. I mean, look, I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. We know about those quarterbacks with Lambos. We got it. We get it. All right, Jay, more questions on the way. And by the way, John has already responded to the moral character situation. And he says, in one word, gone. That's what he said. Gone. Thanks, Jay. Just to help folks understand the clarification. I think I get it because I've hung around you for long enough. But, some are asking on the super text line, why do illegal aliens or people that have come into the country get due process at all? There's and for me, I mean, I would say, well, one, you've got to establish that they're actually here illegally, and that is in part of the due process. I mean, what would you say to that question?
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm right about this. I'm doing some very quick legal research, man.
Mm-hmm. And I love it. See, Jay is quick on the draw, and he can throw down some legal. He throws down some legal jargon with the best of them. He's research.
Right. Yeah. Because I've learned we go to the primary source. Man.
Oh, and I bet I know what that is.
Yeah. Well, so there's primary sources and secondary sources. Secondary sources are TV commentators or
say loudmouth radio talk show host. Say it. That's
and
okay.
Ken Weaver. Ken Weaver
is a secondary source. Yes,
is a secondary source.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, Ken. But the primary source is the Constitution of the United States of America.
I agree with that.
And the due process clause is found, well, it was in the Fifth Amendment, but particularly in the 14th Amendment. That was, came out of the Civil War. And it says that it guarantees that no state shall deprive any person, and that word was picked very intentionally, Matt. Some parts of the Constitution talk about citizens.
That's right.
Some talk about persons. And that's a very intentional distinction. And so the reason that illegal aliens get some due process, maybe not much, or the key word there is what is due. We could talk about that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
No, all right. The key word is not process. The key word is what is
due. Right.
But they are persons, and therefore they fall under the due process clause of the 14th Amendment. That's why they get due process.
Oh.
Now the real question is, well, what process are they due? Well, it ain't much.
Well,
it's certainly not what citizens get.
Well, that's right.
Olivia's she's taking a contrary view about my opinion.
Oh, did she she just filed a brief, I think.
Did you hear her, Bart?
I did. I heard her file a brief in the background.
Yeah, she filed a motion.
Oh, yeah, a motion to dismiss. Anita is next up with a question for Jay St. Clair. Anita, thank you for calling. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
I'm needing to know a question. Does getting married revoke a previous will that was made years before the marriage?
No, I don't think it does in Alabama, Anita. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not looked to see if Tennessee has done that. I'm sorry?
This is in Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I figured it would be, Anita. I don't know if Tennessee. I'll. We have another break. I'll look at it. Some states have caught up with that and changed their laws, but I wouldn't count on that. And so the wise thing to do is to update that will.
Okay.
Well,
the man's dead.
I'm
the
sorry?
man that made the will's dead.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me look at that. So the question: the guy had a will, and then he got divorced, right?
No, he got married.
Got married.
After he made the will.
Well,
he got married.
Okay. And so and then he died.
and then he died.
I got you. And I guess his wife at the time that he was dead is not in the will.
That's right.
Well, but by law, you can't disown a wife. So there's good news there. And I have looked at that under Tennessee law recently. The wife is entitled to take a portion of the estate. You can't disown a wife in Tennessee. And the portion that she's absolutely entitled to is a function of how long they were married. I think she gets at least 20%, and it goes up to 50%. How long were they married, Anita? Do you know?
4 or 5 years, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, she's not going to be guaranteed a lot. What I was thinking you were calling for in some states, and I'm going to look and see if this is true too. See, if when somebody gets divorced and their ex is in the will, by operational law, they no longer take under the will.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the beneficiaries are in the will, Anita?
It was a goddaughter.
A goddaughter.
Oh, okay. Well, how
he
interesting.
Didn't have any children.
And was never married.
He was married twice.
Okay.
Oh, I see. But they're not in the will.
But the ex-wife wasn't in the will.
No.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah, so I think what's going to happen is the wife at the time that he died takes some, and I wish I could tell you the exact percentage. I want to say it's 30% if they've been married 4 or 5 years, and then the goddaughter will get the rest.
So there you go, Anita. As best we can ascertain, the wife will not, the current wife, just because she's not in the will not be out of the estate. In other words, Jay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to, Anita, are you still there?
Oh, I hung up on her. I'm sorry, Jay.
That's okay.
I moved on.
I was going to ask her if she's from Cumberland County.
Oh, well, Anita, if you're still listening, if you're from Cumberland County, let us know. Call Chris Weber and let him know.
You know, I've spent a lot of time in Crossville and Cumberland County and up around that area. Boy, she sounds like a lot of people I know. By
the way, speaking of people that you know, I got Super Talk on the Super Talk text line as it pulls up here. Oh, here it is. 9285 said, if I recall correctly, Sinclair, he said Sinclair, not Saint. Sinclair is from the Sequatchie Valley. Hey, how about a shout out from the Dunlap Army?
I love it. Absolutely. Born and raised in Dunlap, Tennessee. Absolutely. Was born right there in the little hospital right behind Church of Christ. Right there on Main Street. You've been there.
I've been there, and I have documented that they have more than one red light in Dunlap now. So
yeah, and I'll tell you what, they put up like a VFW, a military a sort of outdoor museum there, and they have the kind of jet that my dad flew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they've got his name up and a plaque up on it and whatnot.
That's cool.
So, I love to hear from folks from Sequatchie County, absolutely.
Don is in Franklin next with a question for Jay. Don, what do you got?
Hey, good evening. You guys hear me?
Hey, Don.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling about trying to get a driver's license in Tennessee. I moved here back in 24 January. I've spent 20 hours so far at the registry.
Oh, no.
Red tape stuff. And finally, 20 hours there, 8 hours on the phone. Finally, my last visit there, they did my eye test, took my picture, and then said, we got to review your paperwork. Go have a seat. 45 minutes later, I stood up, went back up. They didn't call me. She goes, oh, yeah, we're still waiting for the call. Ends up a problem with Massachusetts, which I moved out of there 18 years ago.
Right.
I have my license right now is in Maine. So 18 years ago in Maine, I got a DUI, and I had previous DUI in Massachusetts. So they suspended my license in Massachusetts forever. So this is why Tennessee won't give me a license now, because of that.
You have a valid license in Maine, though?
Yes, sir. That's still good for 2 years.
Jay, any thought?
Yeah. How can I help you? How can I help you, Don?
I don't know. I'm just trying to get some. It's like they're telling me now I got to send $50 to Massachusetts to get a hearing, and the hearing could be between 27 and 75 weeks before I get a hearing.
Jay, I think I've got this one. You ready? Don.
Yes, sir.
Don, when it comes time to renew your license,
yes, sir.
You need to drive to Maine and renew your license in Maine.
Well, I thought of that, but I don't have an address, and I have my former address, but they're going to ask you for, utility bills, this or that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I think you just present that license to them and then and tell them and lie and tell them that you're still in Maine. Don, I wish you the best. I don't know if they're telling you. That's odd. I don't know if we're getting the full story there, but if you have a valid.
Hey, Don, is Don still there?
No, Don's gone. Don left.
Okay, I was going to get him to say y'all.
Well, I was gonna pick on him and tell him he was having trouble getting a license because they believe he's a foreigner.
Well, he is.
Well, you're not from around here.
And Matt, I've looked on this issue about taking, if they've been married from 3 to 6 years, you get 20% of the net estate. So I was just about right.
Okay.
So even though they're not in the will, they're guaranteed by law to get at least 20%.
Okay. That's very good. So I hope, oh gosh, I can't remember her name now. Anita. Miss
Olivia. Anita.
Yeah, I hope Miss Anita's still listening. All right, as many as we can get to. Evan is next in Chapel Hill. Evan, you got a question for Jay St. Clair?
Yes, sir. The question is on statute of limitations and not the specifics of the current allegation, but if Letitia James has mortgage fraud problems, is that just a black eye, or is that can stay on the books for 20 years and they can prosecute, or someone in a similar situation?
I don't think it goes back 20 years, Evan. I hadn't looked at the facts of the case, but if they've referred it to DOJ, and they have, they believe they've got a good case.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she's in a, as we would say in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," Evan? She's in a tight spot.
We're in a tight spot. How's my hair?
Isn't that what they say, man?
Yeah, we're in a tight spot. Yeah.
She's in a tight spot.
Yeah, no, there's no question. And like you said, and thank you, Evan, for the call. And like you say, Jay, if she was beyond the statute, they wouldn't refer it, I would think.
We
right?
wouldn't be hearing about it. Yeah, we wouldn't be hearing. Well, they'd probably try to embarrass her with it. But they wouldn't be talking about prosecution.
Let me trying to get to one more in here. Kelly is in Old Hickory with a question for Jay St. Clair. Kelly, you snuck in under the wire. What's going on?
Well, and if it's too long, you can have me call back another day. It's a life insurance question. My father passed away, but before he passed away, his lady friend who had a life insurance policy on him, she died. The company said, hey, do you want to roll this over? And Mr. Allen, you take over the payments on it. It was a whole life. We did that. They signed papers. He took over the whole life. They took payments out of his check checking account every month for it. And then he dies.
Who was the beneficiary?
Now, all of a sudden...
who was designated the beneficiary?
It would be our children, my brothers, my siblings, and I.
Okay.
They won't pay.
Well, why not?
Because they're saying they can't find the paperwork, even though they took the premiums out. They can't find that anything was ever signed, even though they took the premiums out.
How much money is it, Kelly?
It's like $12,000.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, what they've done now is they've gone back to the family of Dottie, his girlfriend, and said, well, they're the ones that are going to have to file it. It should have been paid out at that time. And she only had a trust. And even though when she passed, they accepted the trust and gave her kids the money, they're saying they can't accept a trust. And these people have got to go get a will. I mean, they're just really, really trying their best not to pay us.
Yeah,
but, I mean, they did take the premiums out for over 2 years.
This is all in Tennessee.
Yeah.
When did your father pass away?
He passed away, it was a year ago, December.
Have y'all opened an estate?
Oh, yeah. The state's been opened and closed. I mean, we've been dealing with these people for some time and didn't know if we had legal.
Yeah, y'all were in probate court. Y'all filed y'all opened an estate in probate. And has this life insurance issue been discussed there?
I discussed it with with our estate attorney.
Right.
But they said, well, I don't know how to help you with insurance.
Wow. Yeah, boy, dealing with insurance companies is tough, Kelly. It would really be to your advantage to have a lawyer. But I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, Kelly. For $12,000, that's probably not going to be cost effective.
I know in one way it's not, but for us, it's the point of it.
Yep.
It's the life.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, here's the other thing you can do is you can sue them. You can sue the insurance company in General Sessions Court. Are you in Davidson County?
I am.
Yeah. So here's what you need to do. Write this down. They have the Davidson County General Sessions Court.
Okay.
They have a very user-friendly website, and you can file that lawsuit yourself. And we joke about it, that it takes two things to file a lawsuit, $400 and a crayon. Actually, in this court, it only costs $137.50.
Wow.
Okay. That's all it'll cost.
Sounds special.
And you can sue them, and then once you do that, that's going to get their attention.
Okay.
Kelly, call it.
I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. I apologize, but we're running short of time. Call us back and let us know how that goes. Jay, we are simply out of time. I hate it, but time flies when you're having fun. Have a good weekend and have a wonderful Easter holiday, Jay.
Thank you, buddy.